Hi there and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to end Volume 2. This is going to be Episode 5 of the Rumors-ish era. Just gracefully been saying from about 75 to 77, somewhere in that. My next album is going to be about, the Tusk live album era, but I know for a fact that it's going to be mixed up, that there's probably going to be some stuff from Rumors in there. There's probably been some stuff from Tusk in here. It's all kinds of messed up, but I know that and I own it. So hopefully you're enjoying it and you're looking right past all that. Just none of that matters to you. I'm going to start with just a quick glimpse, real quick, and then down because I think my friend shared those pictures with me. The pictures that remain in the next two pages, a couple of them might be hers, but a lot of them are from magazine articles and some photos that I had. So I don't think I'm giving up anything that was hers. Like this one might have been hers. You can kind of tell what's magazine, what's photo. This was a party, and I thought I had written this down somewhere. This was a party given by Warner Brothers to Rod Stewart, honoring him at just for musicianship or something like that. And Stevie was a guest. And I had a date on here somewhere too, so I thought. And now I'm not so sure. What I am really proud of, though, is the how it looks, the background, and everything like that. I thought I did a really good job. I think I may have showed these in a pop-up, but all the paper, all the stuff back there is like a whole bunch of mixed up papers. I took a whole bunch of different colors and papers and just mixed everything up, and then this is like a tape, and it just looks really great with the photos, in my opinion. And it's funny just how many there are from this, from this event. Yeah, so that was from that. This was another from Music Express, November of 1977. And it's just like it would open up. It was a large, kind of a fold out thing. So I took it and kind of separated it. And that's all it was. There was no article. It was just some really good pictures, photos by Lee Lippingwell, as shown here. Strange for a change that there's actually two of Lindsay, one of John, one of Mick, one of Christine, and one of Stevie. Usually it's Stevie who would get, the bulk of photos in places, but I thought this one was pretty cool. There's actually two of Lindsay. But again, just another little piece of ephemera that's I'm just kind of surprised and grateful to have out of a magazine because, this is a combination of some of those pictures, again, out of this one was from, that big giant poster I keep talking about. I hope most of you know. I'm going to find a picture of that. I know I have a picture of it somewhere, and I'll show it in one of my videos, as was this one, cut out from it, if nobody's seen it. And then I had shown pictures in the past that kind of went with this. Not kind of, they did go with it, by the same photographer who, no, I don't have mentioned down here because I don't think that I know who took these, but it's really cool. The superimposed. So there's John, there's Chris, Stevie here, Mick here, Stevie here. So I have that picture that I shown earlier, and I want to see this picture of Lindsay. But just how they're all superimposed looks really cool. Very, very cool photo. And just a random shot. This was some really cool paperwork that I got. I'm not going to read it or anything like that, but I had gotten a press kit and a whole bunch of photos and stuff from a fan or an somebody who was a fan or maybe somebody who had found the fan stuff. But anyway, stuff from Australia. So it was a lot of proof stuff. So this is kind of like press kit information from Australia. And it was Rock Arena. And it was talking about Fleetwood Mac was going to be coming to Sydney and Melbourne. And I think that they were mentioning that, let's see, I'll read the first paragraph. The Paul Dainty Corporation announces the most spectacular rock event ever presented in Australia, a massive triple header co-headlining rock legends Fleetwood Mac, Santana, and featuring Australia's own Little River Band. Sydney was Friday, November 11th, and 1977, and Melbourne was Sunday, November 13th. Tickets were $12.50 for 3 acts. $12.50. Yeah. I'm going to guess that's all across the board, like probably all, general admission or seats. I don't remember actually when all that tiered pricing. And by the time I went to go see shows in 87, that had started, tiered pricing where the floor, of course, was more. Sometimes the floor is not more. Even today, sometimes there'll be a friend of mine just went and saw Nine Inch Nails, and general admission was for the stage. And it was actually cheaper. And the seats were the most expensive. I would have loved to have been at that show, but that's kind of, I haven't seen that in a while. That was like at a big stadium, like at Moda for Portland, which is pretty huge. But tickets are not $12.50, that's for sure. I think even the general admission for current shows at Moda are about the $90 to $125, at a minimum. And that's before fees, just freaking obscene, but we won't go there. Doesn't say anything about fees here, but kind of funny. I don't want to get off on a tangent. So then there's more about them being there, I believe. First Australian tour. And so I think this might have been, so this is one little kind of like a press kit thing, maybe stapled together. There's nothing on the back of the pages, I'm pretty sure. No. And then I guess there was more dates that got added because they showed them here. Or maybe that's why the press kits are separate, because this one started with the 2 dates, and then this little bit was for some of the other dates that got announced. And then here's a picture of them. Definitely not in Australia. This looks like they're in New Orleans or something. That's always where I thought these pictures were taken. But I could be wrong. Probably like Los Angeles. Just looks like it with this place here. Looks like a house in New Orleans. Not a song. And then this is the other side. So those were just cool little pieces of paper to get, and just very different. There's some more of this stuff too. I have some more letters and some other stuff, but it's actually it's almost as long as these pages. And I just don't think I put those in a spot yet. This was a cool one-off little photo of Stevie and Lindsay that I got. Gorgeous. This looks to me like that, wherever the state was, this looks to me again like all those other photos with the hat, because she's wearing that shawl and then she's holding the hat there. Not saying it is. November 77, I didn't line up my dates. Oh, that would have been, funny enough, November, this was in Music Express in November 77. And this, by the way, just says C. Boyd. I'm not sure who their first name, but that's credit for them. A gorgeous original and a really nice paper. Like super fine, thick. It looks like possibly it's numbered. It's hard to say. or that's just writing on the back, but it's just really nice. But on the back of this, what I have here is another fold out from like possibly Billboard or something, maybe. This is a cool ad here. Again, talk about a lot of people. That's crazy. This is crazy. Can you imagine all these freaking people like that? Like that. Crazy. It makes me claustrophobic. Look at it. It looks like a bunch of cherries, but those are people. Here we had Fleetwood Mac. So this was an ad. Over 100,000 Australian fans on the weekend of November 11, 77 in Sydney and Melbourne attended Paul Dainty's Rock Arena. Photography is by Patrick Jones, and it's indeed Santana, Fleetwood Mac, and Little River Band. And the Kevin Borg Express. Can't say as I know them. Funny enough, that looks like somebody who is on some proof sheets I just got. Oddly enough. The proof sheets were from the 80s, not the... So this was from, I'm going to guess Billboard magazine. I can't really tell, but this just looks like how Billboard's articles are on the inside. But this is just a really great ad. It just really overwhelming in a cool way. But I just can't imagine performing in front of that many people. So this, I'm just going to kind of leave, this. I could put something in between it, but I just thought to leave it like this in the photo album to be able to take out if I ever wanted to, or just have this page showing, because you still get the idea, and I know when the date is and stuff like that. So that was the other side of that one. And kind of wrapping it up with this photo session here. Now, again, more pages need to come because I'm missing some pages. I have some more photos from the session that aren't here. One just of John and Lindsay, which is kind of cool. This was always a pretty outfit. I would have liked to have seen Stevie in again. Like, it doesn't look like anything stage worn to me ever. So pretty, especially with those boots like that. And I'm pretty sure that these are Emerson shot. I'm good, Emerson, and these were taken in 1977. So I'm not sure why this was in the back of it. This should actually go into the next magazine. Well, this was from 1977, and this was just one I needed to keep flat. Not sure where the article is, but this is a magazine out of Australia. I think one of their, no, it's not free. It's 50 cents, but kind of like one of their little music magazines that would come out. I remember like in 2001 or something, my early days of eBay, there's somebody who was just selling like a huge collection of Juke magazines, and good Lord, it seemed like every issue had Stevie in it, Stevie or Fleetwood Mac. I think this might be the only issue I've ever gotten of it. But I remember them, I couldn't afford any of them because they're going up, and they had a lot of unique photos, and because they're out of Australia, they're just coveted by collectors and stuff. But and this one I didn't get as the entire magazine. I just got as the cover, and I'm hoping I got the article that was inside of it. Oh, that's what that was. So yeah, so this is that's them in concert in that, because that's Rock Arena Pick Report. So that's what this would be. So this would be their, so this issue came out November 26th. So this was them in concert in Sydney in Australia by that ad thing I just showed you. So that's what that is. Yep. And then this is just a closer picture. I don't know. I think I just put it in there. This was out of Billboard magazine as well, and it was even though it's a part of the Tusk so I'm getting ahead of myself. It's part of the Tusk tour book. So it's like a page taken right out of there. But it was CD management, Fleetwood Mac Star Women. We're proud of you. I just love the whole setting. I couldn't scrapbook it better than how it just looks here. And then, of course, these amazingly beautiful photos of both Stevie and Christine, taken by Richard Armas, who I brought up in the past and will bring up several more times in my videos. I think because there's going to be a couple in the future that are by his brother Abel. And from talking to Abel in the past, it sounds like there's a time or two and it might be under Richard, but I think maybe Abel took it or was there. If I'm understanding correctly, I might have that wrong. But yeah, beautiful photos. And it's so funny because people always have this down as Herbert. Always. Always, always, always. And unfortunately, I see it stolen a lot. I have a handbag that I got, and it's beautiful. But somebody had taken this photo and kind of done a real pretty design around this. It was at a Comic-Con of all places. And I found the bag, and, but the fact that they used the photo, what can you do? I mean, you can't go after everybody, but I just see it a lot used for, it's used a lot for candles. And they do like, a lot of those candles that are kind of like the saints, when they kind of make the people up to be like patron saints, kind of in a joke. They use that picture of Stevie. So it's actually kind of an honor, but, at the same time, when somebody's making money off somebody else, it's kind of not cool. But it's just a photo you see a lot. And I think a lot of people use it because maybe they thought it was Herbert. And, there's nothing that estate can do about it anymore. And certainly Abel's not going to go after every person for his brother's estate. And, it's too much of a challenge to try and catch everybody. But I just like seeing that, it gets the proper credit. So I'm going to end on that. Next up, we'll be getting into Tusk and 1980. And surely we'll be going back in time, though, and finding old photos and pages I made from the 70s, earlier 70s, because there's no way it's all done. But for the most part, I've gotten as concise as I can. And that'll be it. So I hope you enjoyed Volume 2, Episode 5, kind of wrapping up the rumors, everything I put together so far. Again, might be some in the future, some in the Tusk book, but just go with it. And I hope, again, just like every episode, that you saw something maybe you hadn't seen before and enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye-bye.